Haven hammocks are awesome in milder temperatures, but I'm not so sure for winter camping because their rectangular shape makes adding an underquilt difficult, if not impossible. If only someone made a rectangular underquilt that would work with, hey, here's one, a Canadian company called Opeongo. Opeongo? I don't know how to pronounce this. They make their own rectangular suspended tent and a rectangular underquilt to go with it. At about $100, it was worth a try. The way the underquilt works is it wraps itself around the four sides of the tent, holding the corners in place with supplied ropes. It was an awkward process strapping it to the Haven, but I got it to work. How well does it insulate? Only one way to find out. A cold weather campout in the backyard, of course.
Alright, let me take you inside. This is going to be my sleeping situation for the night. I'm gonna test out some colder weather sleeping tonight. It's supposed to get down into the 30s. I'm just standing here and I feel pretty warm already. So this is a 30-degree bag. Nemo Disco 30. And I got another blanket here. It's a kind of a fake down blanket. This is the Opeongo underquilt on the Haven. It's pretty nice. It works well with rectangular Havens. And then I also have the, you can't really see it, but there's the gear hammock. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be fine. I don't feel cold yet at all. Just standing in here under the tarp. It's kind of pleasant, actually. It's cold out, but it feels good in here. So I'm in, and feels pretty good. I got this bug net all zipped up, and I have the one side's tied open. This side is actually just loosely hanging down. I'd say my butt feels fine. The underquilt is working. It's not cold. Anyway, so yeah, I'm in. I feel pretty good. I feel warm. Or actually, not even warm, just comfortable. Check to see what the heck temperature it is outside. I have two ways of telling what temperature it is. One of these and a little sensor also that I have that hooks up to my phone. I just compare the two, and then I check the Weather Channel app. Right now it says it is 38 degrees Fahrenheit outside of this hammock and 51 right here in my hand. All day I've been comparing that device, my other sensor, and Weather Channel to see if they corroborate each other, I guess is the right word. And they kind of don't. The two sensors that I had were in sync, and Weather Channel said it was like 10 degrees colder. That's a big difference, but they all don't seem to be jiving all that great. I don't know which one to trust, so I'm just looking at all of them. One of the things I wanted to make sure I could do was inflate this pad as much as I could without popping it. And I was wondering, like, you know, if I kept pushing air in, could I burst it? And turns out if you use the blow-up sack and you push it in as hard as you can, at some point the valve just pops off. And so you really can't keep pushing too much air into it. It'll pop the inflation sack right off. So, and I tried it over and over again. I filled it up, rolled it up, pushed as hard as I could, and it would just pop right out. And then I'd put it back on, try it again, and it would come right off. And so that's good to know, because it feels pretty well inflated right now. When we camped out in that rainstorm, things got a little bit cold. They got to be about 55 at night. And even though I had like a wool blanket underneath me and Reflectix type material that I was sleeping directly on, it was cold from beneath. I had to switch out and get my Reflectix pad and sleeping bag on, because it's cold. It's getting colder. It's getting a lot colder. But right now I don't have any of that. I just have this inflatable pad and the underquilt, and it feels great. It feels really, really nice. It's totally keeping me warm, and I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's colder out right now by far than it was on that trip, on that camp out, and I'm warmer than I was, and I have less. I mean, well, I got an underquilt, but I'm really impressed with how warm my butt actually is. Like underneath me, it's toasty. It's starting to feel a little bit warm. So anyway, yeah, I think it's a success with this underquilt. I think it's working out really well. And I'll do another test with colder weather, below freezing, probably at some point, just to see what it's like. But yeah, I'm going to either go to sleep or watch something on my phone for a while. I'll let you know if if anything interesting happens in the middle of the night, but my guess is I'm gonna blink right into the morning. I'm gonna turn my lights off. See ya.
The next morning. Wait, it's still nighttime.
Well, it was 36 like a second ago. Now it's showing up as 37. Wow, it's getting warmer.
The next morning. For reals.
So it's 7:11, and it's colder now than it was during the night. And looks like it might have rained, actually. It's looking kind of wet outside. Right at this moment, I feel pretty warm. Although last night there were moments where it got cold from beneath. Not entirely sure why. But right now I feel pretty good. I think it's because I'm warming up the mattress by moving around. I did put on this extra blanket. I don't know if I needed it or not, but I did it and it feels good. I gotta think about how to insulate this thing a little bit more for colder temps. If I were to add another, like a layer of Reflectix, maybe a rubber mat. Actually, there's an insulated thing that I can surround the mattress, the air mattress in, that might retain some heat. I think that might help make things warmer. I gotta pee really, really bad. See ya.
One tinkle later.
Here are the temperature gauges. This is the unit, and this is the one that connects to, I can link up to my phone. So, it was a decent night. Slept pretty good. So anyway, here's what this is the underquilt. And the, it's still there? Yeah, it's still there. This is a gear hammock right here. Goes all the way along the bottom. So I was thinking there were some moments there where there were cold spots. I wasn't quite sure if this thing had fallen off or something, but it appears that it did not. I mean, it did a good job. It's 35 degrees and it was fairly warm. But there were moments where it was like, hey, I'm kind of cold right here. And it doesn't look like it was because it fell off. Or, lost a corner or something to let air in. But it's pretty chilly out right now. It's actually pretty cold. 35 is cold. It's almost freezing, you might say. Here I am inside. And I just had the Haven tarp sort of draped over, hanging loose. The other one is tied out. I slept inside this pretty good. These things, it's freezing to touch this. It's weird how warm it was in there, but it's cold to touch the surface of these things. And then I had this blanket. This is a puffy blanket. That was nice. That actually added a nice little chunk of heat. I didn't even have thermal socks or anything. I had these really thin socks on and my feet were not cold at all. The foot box on this did me well for 35 degrees. And I like these things. I like these hoods. They really make a big difference. So yeah, that was a good test. I know some limits now. I think the limits still come from beneath. I'm not having any problems on top, but beneath it's still kind of weird. So I'm probably going to add some Reflectix, maybe a foam pad, and maybe even throw one of these things like right in here. There's a lot of space in there to add some insulation. I might throw this blankie in there, wad it up, just to add a little bit more. Where the cold spots were still on like my pelvis and my butt. Yeah, mostly it was just like, where I was lowest, where I was pushing down on the mattress the most. So I think if I clump up some
some extra insulation right at that spot, that might help. But yeah, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about it. Even it was moments of like, sort of cold. It wasn't that bad for 35. I mean, this is basically 20 degrees colder than it was on our trip to Rock Cut State Park. I was warmer than I was then. And it's totally because of the underquilt, for sure. That made a huge difference. Something that just occurred to me as to why maybe I was having a little bit of a cold butt, which sort of surprised me, is I think I had this set up too tight, too close together to the underquilt. And so when I lay in it, this was actually probably pulling it right back up, right onto my butt. I had set it at you have these like, this rope here, and it has two measurements. This is like the one you're supposed to use. I had it set to this half one because I thought, okay, cool, I'll have it like nice and tight. I have a feeling that if I had put it on this one, I think it would have eliminated any little cold butt situations I had, which I didn't have much of. I think I just had the gear rack, the gear hammock a little bit too tight and close to me. So when I laid on it, I was pressing the underquilt against me a little more, and I think that's what the problem was. So what have we learned? First, the Opeongo underquilt fits the Haven hammock tent. It insulates nicely as well. It's awkward to attach, but worth the struggle. Second, use the Opeongo gear hammock on the furthest setting. Otherwise, it might compress the underquilt against your butt and reduce insulation. You could also just not use it at all. Third, temperature gauges do not always agree on the temp. So, anyway, I guess that's the end of this video. I gotta have a sign out. Some kind of sign out. I don't have one. I don't have one yet. Like, see ya. Or something like that. Bye. Goodbye. Maybe that's a good one. I don't think anyone's taken goodbye yet. I think that one's original.
Fibs.